Hi there, beautiful light warriors from all over the globe. We are here in person and we are being assisted by our soul angels in different shapes and forms to join us in this session. So very good. Glad to see all of you here right now and enjoy today's session. My name is Wouter. I'm your tech host. And if there are any technical difficulty, be sure to send me a direct message and I'll sort you out as soon as possible. And for the introduction for today's session, I would love to hand it over. She's back to our beautiful host, Inken.
Yes, and I'm so happy to be back, guys. I missed you a lot, a lot. So warm welcome to the Light Warrior Collective. My name is Inken, and I'm really happy to be part of the hosting team of the Light Warrior Collective. We are your safe space of empowerment since more than 3 years. And we just, we love to inspire you. We love to raise your vibration. We love to co-create with you and just create these moments of growth and of connection. And I really am proud that each of our sessions is unique. Each Sunday is unique. We are creating as a core team the sessions, but we also have a huge portfolio of amazing special guests that join us on a regular basis to share their amazing gifts. And today we have a shining star with us. She's back. She has been with us already one time, and I'm so grateful that you're back to share your wisdom with us and with our beautiful participants, our community. And yeah, like for me, I know you now some years, and I just love to follow your story and the path that you walk. It's so inspiring and it's so powerful. You are really like a conscious creator, and I feel amazing how you touch lives. So we are honored to have you here, Barbie. And I know it's very early for you. So thank you very much for the sacrifice of getting up very early to be with us. And with all my heart, I hand it over to you so you can introduce yourself for those that don't know her and tell a bit about your story, links to find you. We will share in the chat and and about today's topic. So please go ahead.
Thank you, Inken. It's so nice to be here. Yes, it's been quite the wild ride for the last 3 years. And I look at my bio each time, like month to month, and it's just each time it continues to expand on all these amazing things. So first of all, before we start anything, I want to bring in this beautiful handmade trident that was made by a healer, just to bring in the tone of bringing in a quantum frequency, just allowing everybody who's here at the moment, just close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath in, breathe out. And now from there, just creating a beautiful quantum portal of all the people, all the beings that are around this planet, from wherever they're joining, whether they're live or whether or not they're going to listen to the recording, and bringing in any benevolent beings, any angels, any celestial guides who wish to be able to participate with the becoming of the journey of allowing whatever is to be in that moment, and anything in the way of that, clear and transmute across all time and space and reality. And within that space, I'm going to ping these individually. Bringing in celestial frequencies. And in addition to that, also calling in the hue. So my name is Barbie Layton, and in 2020, we all know that the pandemic was something where it was a, oh my God, holy, you know what, moment for the entire world. But I think that what was really an important thing was in the Mind Valley community is that Vishen literally allowed everything to go from the Facebook pages that he was doing, the Buddha and the Badass was being published, and then from there, everything moved over to Zoom. And then we started having these amazing opportunities to be able to interact with all the authors. So I remember that in 2020, Naveen Jain came on and he dropped his information, and I've been in correspondence with him for the last 3 years. And he was the very first guest on my TV show in 2021, which was absolutely remarkable. And if you're interested in seeing my TV show, it's You Are Amazing on the Best You.tv. I have over 50 episodes there with Ken Honda and Rachel Pringle and Naveen and a lot of other Mind Valley authors and a lot of other benevolent, amazing people who are doing great things in the world, because that was the whole focus, was finding out the stories of other people and how they're impacting the world. And then from there, I was doing Christian Marie Sheldon's Unlimited Abundance. I was doing Marissa Peer's Quest. If you guys have been with Mind Valley for a while, all of a sudden the quest just started coming one after the other. So I literally, I think I've done like over 60 quests, and it's something of our just literally allowing that abundance mindset to be able to really, really expand outwards, to be able to have these opportunities. But what I really want to talk to you about today is kind of like, how did all that kind of stuff happen? And if you see behind you, there's my banner is The Science of Signs. And that is actually a divinely downloaded course that came forward in 2012. So a little bit about that. So just type in the chat, how many of you guys have seen like recurring numbers, or you have songs that literally remind you of somebody maybe that's passed on, or someone that you know that's maybe thinking of you. You think about somebody and they call you. You have other kinds of dreams of where they're just recurring and then they come true. Different things like that. So just type in the chat as to whether or not those things happen to you. So one person said so far, yes. Recurring numbers daily. Okay. Occasionally. Yes. Okay. So how many of you guys are conscious about what those things mean for you? How many of you guys have put the meaning to exactly what that is for you? Very conscious. Okay. You look them up most of the time. Okay. Awesome. Well, this is a conscious group, so obviously it's not like talking to newbies that don't have any idea about that. So that's a great space to be in. But what I basically came up with was an ability to be able to track them and start to look for patterns and other things like that that allow you to be able to literally almost navigate your life like you have a GPS. So in 2012, I was on a trip to Key West, a passenger in a car, and I started seeing 111, 1111, and 11111 like 20 plus something times. And, you know, I've been on a spiritual journey for most of my life, consciously searching and seeking for the last 30. But that was just like, okay, come on, boom, on the top of the head, you need to start paying attention. So I pulled out an envelope from some utility company and I started doing the scratches of the 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the line through. By the time I was done in like a 3-hour car ride, I literally had seen like something like 120 configurations of multiple ones. And it was just like, there was no way that was a coincidence. So I started really researching as to kind of like what that was about. And what I found was the fact that there's kind of a formula. It's like it's tapping into the quantum field and having the opportunity to be able to see what the quantum field is communicating with. And a lot of people, you don't even have to be spiritual to be able to believe in that, because everybody agrees the fact that we're all right now on a device. We're all having electricity to be able to have that device. We all have an internet service. It's that kind of stuff that's a really, really important thing that when I explain it to people who don't have any kind of spiritual background, it's something that everybody can agree on. And if you look at the fact that Nikola Tesla talks about the fact that if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. So light and sound are those two components really that make up the entire universe. And so ultimately with everything, when you start to really focus on the signs of what they're telling you to do, it's getting into that space. So I want to take you guys through an exercise into your body. So I'm gonna take a drink of water. So how many of you guys know where your sacred yes resides in your body? And how many of you guys know where your sacred no resides in your body? Don't know? Okay. So one of the things that's a really helpful thing is to be able to get into that space as to where it is in your body. So how many of you guys have ever worked with pendulums before? So pendulums, oftentimes they'll have, you know, they'll go, I'll ask when I work with them, show me a yes, show me a no, show me a maybe. And it goes forward for me for yes, side to side for no, and it circles around for a maybe. And that's very consistent for me. You can do that with keys, you can do that with your body, You can do that with muscle testing, which is applied kinesiology. But when you speak into your body, this is a really important thing because it allows you to connect with the signs and synchronicities that are happening with you. Because if you just see 111 and it's like, yeah, cool, I saw that recurring number, that's not that big of a deal. But if you can actually ascribe meaning, when we ascribe meaning to that individually, so Victor, I saw that you said that you looked them up, and that's great that you looked them up. But there may be something of where not allowing that to be the definition from somebody else, maybe it means something different for you. So what it is it's being observant as to what is happening around you in the moment when you see those signs, and then realizing whether or not there's a positive thing happening or a negative thing happening. And that's a really, really important thing because it can guide you as to whether or not keep going on this direction or no, you need to veer off of it because it's not for you. So in your body, when you say the word yes, you get really excited. So I want it wherever you are, hopefully if you do this, if you can't, you can do it later. But when you're by yourself, just, okay, yes, yes, yes. So when I feel into my body, that's right there. So if anyone has the opportunity, they can do that right now. Where do you feel that yes in your body? Anybody? So I'll move on to the no. So when you say no, 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 for me, that's right there in my stomach. That's literally the bottom of my stomach. So if you tap into that space in your body and you're asking yourself, what is my next step? And then you're asking for, okay, there you go. Solar plexus is easy. So what about the yes? Can you feel where the yes is, Vivian? Because these are the kind of things that can end up really, really, truly guiding you because it's a frequency where you have the opportunity. Perfect. So with their right shoulder front, if you know that that's where it is for you, that's awesome. So everybody is different. That's what I'm saying. Everybody, stomach and heart, yes. Okay. Nose, shoulders, and up. Okay. Awesome. Feels like I glow. Okay. So it's feeling that frequency inside of it. So what I've done in a lot of the manifestations games, I do a lot of gamification. And so what I'll do is sometimes I'll play like little, silly slot machine games on the internet. Like the Wizard of Oz one is a really fun one to do. And the next thing you know, it says, you just won a $75 million jackpot. And I'm like, yes, I just won $75 million. Oh my God, that's so amazing. And then I mock it up in my body because that's one of the things with the law of attraction and all the other things having to do with manifestation. It has to be mocked up in the feeling of what will it feel like when I have this particular thing. It's not the big car that you want. It's not necessarily the house that you want. It's the feeling that you're going to get when you have those. And Ken Honda famously talks about the fact that a lot of his billionaire friends, they talk about when they're fulfilled is basically, they have a private jet. But the ultimate thing is the fact that their neighbor has two private jets or their neighbor's private jet is bigger than theirs. So they don't feel that same sense of fulfillment because it's specifically wanting to have that whole thing where it's the feeling that you're going to get with that. So mocking up feelings on that, and we're not going to want to mock up negative feelings for sure, because everybody will just get those automatically with whatever you're doing. But mocking up positive emotions of how you're going to feel when you get that next thing that you want to have. So for example, in 2021, my brother works for a car company and they were coming out with a new electric model. And they said, you can have it custom made for you for a $500 deposit. Okay, cool. But I loved my car. I already had a hybrid that was, gasoline and electric. I loved my car. So it wasn't like I needed it. So I was basically, I put it out there, what will it feel like when I get this new car or not? Because it was literally like being detached from that. But I put it on my screensaver for my work. And I had it on there for close to a year because of supply chain issues, because of the pandemic. It took, about 6 months to 9 months until it was there. Finally, I get an email that says, your new vehicle is being delivered. Do you want to take it or not? And I thought, I really love my old car. I really don't need it. I don't need it for a status thing or to make myself feel better. What am I going to do? What are my choices on that? So what I did is I asked for what is my next step? What is my right next step to be able to do? So that's one of those laws of the universe. You have to ask for assistance. Your angels, your guides, whatever you want to call them, they can't help you unless you ask them. And I'm a quantum healer, and I've done sessions for thousands of people who are sitting there talking to me. And as we create this quantum portal, their guides or angels will come to me and basically say, Can you let them know they need to ask me? I've been dying to help them. I want to help them. I want to help them. I want to help them, but they won't let me help them because they need to ask for it. Preferably out loud. If you're a place where you can't do it, that's fine. But out loud, asking your guides for assistance. What is my next right step? Is where you start to then call those signs and the synchronicities. So if you consciously are interacting with this beautiful, intricate dance with the universe, then from there, you can literally start calling those things in intentionally. Right now, seeing 555, or seeing this or seeing that, those ones are happenstance that are just happening around you. But what would it look like in your life when you call them in? That's like the most exciting part, because then you're literally doing this little dance. Anybody here heard about the Chinese red string theory? Type in the chat. No? So it's a quantum physics concept that says that those that are destined to meet despite time and space will do so. So that's why we have these crazy love stories around the world about people who, I know one of my friends is Diana Wentworth, who's the godmother of Chicken Soup for the Soul. And she said one morning in the 1960s, she got dressed up early in the morning on a cruise ship of some sort, and literally got into the elevator and ended up meeting this gentleman that she had a conversation with. And I think 2 or 3 days later, they were engaged and they were married for 30 plus years. She also dated Elvis Presley in the 50s, which is pretty cool. But it's that kind of stuff of where it's like, what was it that compelled her to get up early to be able to get into that elevator and meet that person? That's that Chinese red string theory, in the sense of where we have this quantum magnetism that we can turn that on. But we have to be expanded. So in today's society, in a lot of places, I don't know how it is in Europe, but in the United States, but a lot of people put their sunglasses on, put their hat on, they put their AirPods in, they're focusing on their phone, and they're completely just contracted. When you're in a contracted state, you cannot manifest. You have to be in an expanded space to be able to manifest. So having that opportunity to be able to do this is having that opportunity to make it intentional. So it's asking those beautiful questions, like Vishen talks about, why do I have the body of a 25-year-old? And, I know one of the things when I first started hearing him say about this lofty question, I was like playing games like on the freeway when somebody would cut me off. I'm like, why is the traffic in Southern California? Why are drivers so nice on the freeway? And it helped me to reshift the ferocity of people who are not being very nice on the freeway at all. So it's still, again, it's like kind of like playing games with that kind of thing. But what I find is the fact that the universe becomes really playful. So 2 things that I really like to talk about is suspending disbelief and childlike wonder. And that childlike wonder is like the 5-year-old that is sitting, under a Christmas tree, or basically, waiting for presents, or any child, no matter what religion, they basically, it's their birthday and they're excited because something special is going to happen. There's going to be a cake or a party or a present or whatever it is. So having that beautiful system in that sense, because I still have a chronic illness that I was diagnosed with in 2016. I had 5 near-death experiences. July 5th was my anniversary of 22 years of having a surgery, of where it's like I lost 80% of the blood of my body, and I was in ICU for almost a week and had to have 3 blood transfusions. So these are momentous things in the sense of where it's like when we've gone through a lot of trauma, a lot of times then we have to find purpose in our lives to be able to see, well, why is it that I survived 5 near-death experiences? What is it that I'm supposed to be doing here on this planet? And so from there, I felt like I reshifted all the mundane and the ordinariness of my life, because there's still so much of my life that's very, very ordinary. But then by the same token, at this moment too, there's so much that is so extraordinary. So like, for example, I filmed a movie last year with Dr. John DeMartini. I've just been asked I've been asked by a director if they want to do a documentary on my life specifically, which I'm just like, oh my God. And I'm going to be in an Amazon Prime movie about energy medicine. And I was actually scientifically verified in April by a world-renowned scientist of my quantum healing abilities. He was able to do a cheek swab with DNA before and after I did a client session, and see that it was 93.9% of DNA electromagnetic currency that actually shifted and moved, that they could prove on these hundreds of thousands of dollars machines. So that was like a huge thing, because I know that I've had clients that have had miraculous results and other things that are they're astounding. But by the same token, is still having somebody actually really be able to scientifically prove that that's the case is amazing. So from there, back to being playful. So the reason why I really want you guys to get into that sacred yes and the sacred no is because that's where the manifestation stuff comes in. I've definitely extended myself. I refinanced my condo to be able to afford the things that I was doing. I invested in myself. You know, Vishen talked about don't quit your day job, and that it would take 3.5 years for you to be able to be where you're successful, where you can really, really step into this new phase of your life. And he was absolutely correct, because literally, I had, you know, I was meeting different talent agencies and different groups. I just kept saying yes to whatever was presented in front of me. And that's the most important thing, by tuning in inside and saying, is this for me or is it not for me? And if it's not for me, that's fine. You don't have to do everything, and not everybody has to like you. That's perfectly fine. But, you know, and I really didn't have much of a social media presence because I wasn't even on it. I didn't even join Instagram until this February because I didn't care. I had a global reputation of people, especially in the Mindvalley community, who were in Poland or uh, South Africa, other places, and they said that my face would like literally pop up in front of their face, and they said, "Oh my God, Barbie, you have to help me. Please do a session for me so that I can do that." I mean, that kind of ability for someone to be able to be communicated across time and space is like something, again, it's a proof of the quantum field. And so I said yes to a project where there was a book that was coming out called Women Gone Wild, The Ultimate Guide to Feminine Living. And it was quite a bit of a reach for me to be able to be a part of it. But now that particular book, we were on 4 New York Times billboards last year on 48th and Broadway. If you're familiar with New York Times Square, they have the giant stack that has the ball at the top with it for the like New Year's Eve. And then on the opposite side is the other famous stack, which has these wings on the side of it, which are 48 feet high. And my book sisters and I, we were rotating on those billboards for a month last year around this time with Kim Kardashian. So, I mean, it was just like the most surreal thing possible. But when I'm literally on the taxi into New York City, because I'd been tracking my signs, I had seen that there was 111, 333, 444, 555, 666. There were 3 sequences that I was missing. So what I often do is I look for what I call a bonus day, where you get all of them, all 000, all the way to 999, because then that's a momentous day that tells you that that was a particular milestone for you. And so I was missing 3 of the sequences, and then from there I just was like, okay, universe, I'd really like for you to show me 777. And this is where the playfulness comes in. All of a sudden I look over and there's like a meat truck and it has 777 in the phone number. Then I was missing, I think, 888. And I looked over to the right, there was a building that had 888 in the address to it. So do you see what I'm trying to say in that sense? It's literally, it's becoming very playful, because once the universe knows that you're on and you're ready to go and you're connecting with it, it's like you start to see all these amazing things and it becomes its own language. That is so epically amazing to think, the idea that you can actually verify the fact that you are being spoken to pretty much at all given times. But when you can actually start to track those, and then you can start looking at patterns weekly, monthly, even years. I have signs that I've been tracking since 2012. And from there, being able to see those type of things and seeing how a lot of those things ended up manifesting was really, really an amazing thing. And so a lot of things that you think to yourself that they sound impossible. I remember that in 2020, I signed up for Vishen's premium coaching. He'd never done it before. It was the wild, wild west of Mindvalley. It doesn't exist anymore. I'm super grateful that I was able to participate in that, because it was like less than 30 of us with like literally no breaks. Like he just told us we could do pretty much whatever we wanted. And the manifestations that were happening, it was absolutely just phenomenally amazing. But because of the fact that I'd already been doing manifestation work with the other Mindvalley quests, I already had the funds that I'd manifested. He said, "Oh, it's $2,499." And I'm like, bloop, okay. Called him up. I was the first person that signed up. They went through the interview process, and then from there it was on. But because Vishen knew me, because of the fact we had the premium coaching, I was doing an expo online. It was the very first expo ever done virtually in supposedly Los Angeles was the location. And when the connections was going on, remember when Vishen was sharing his screen and telling people about the different features and things like that were going on, he stopped on my picture and said, "Oh, Barbie's speaking at this expo, and she's talking about extreme gratitude, et cetera, et cetera." And so from there, if you guys know anything about SEO, the SEO for me literally went to the very top. And I had people ask me, they're like, "Did you Google yourself lately?" And I'm like, "No, I don't like to Google myself. That's really not something I like to do." But I was literally at the top of the SEO because of what Vishen had promoted, that that I was going to be talking on this talk. And that really, really ended up putting me on the map, because extreme gratitude to me is talking about, thanking your stove, blessing the people that brought your food to you. It's thanking your automobile. You're thanking your washing machine. You're thanking your dishwasher. You're thanking the water company for having water come out of your pipes, all those different things. And gratitude stacking on that place for a lot of people. I had emails that people were going through the pandemic at the worst time of it. And they said, thank you. This really saved my life by being able to restructure myself back into being grateful for all the things that are supporting me. Because like right now, we're all on an internet, but we have no idea who the people are that are basically keeping all of this on for us. They're nameless and faceless people, but by the same token, they're still benefiting us too. And being grateful for that is something that it's a frequency in and of itself. I don't know if you guys have heard about the David Hawkins consciousness scale, but gratitude and love end up being on over the 500 hertz. And basically you need to be able to manifest things, you need to be over 500 hertz or above to be able to manifest. That's a really, really key thing. That's what I was talking about, being expanded. So how many of you guys have a process as to being able to call in your own light frequency and connect with your guides? Okay. You do? Writing your gratitude journal every night? Okay, cool. Okay, awesome. All right, so I want to go over a couple of things that I think are also important. I'm not sure how much Vishen has talked about, like Napoleon Hill, but I think that that's Think and Grow Rich is a really, really important book in regards to kind of like resurfacing and kind of like reanalyzing how you get yourself into a certain frequency or a certain mindset. I think John and Misty Butcher do talk about that book, especially when they have like their chapter 13, 1, 2, where they talk about the sexual transmutation too, because that is an energy frequency that allows for abundance to come into your life. And I think that it's a really important thing that you have the opportunity to be able to really tap into what it is that you're being communicated with. Because ultimately, if you are conscious, but how would it be if you actually had the opportunity to be even more conscious? So what I find that there's a process of that is that when I do get a sign or I get a synchronicity of some sort, not only do I track it, but then I also say a blessing inside my head. So like for me, I say Baraka Bashad, which means may the blessings be. So one of the things that's really, really important is that when you get those signs and synchronicities, what you do is you say a thank you of some sort to be able to acknowledge that you have received this message and that you know that it was intended for you. So the way that I describe it is basically the same way where if you take a plug and then, you plug it into the wall, it has to be plugged in. It can't just be sitting there where it's unplugged. Otherwise it's just sitting there, like a curling iron. Unless you plug the curling iron in, it's not going to get hot. It's not going to curl your hair. So that's a super important thing. So having the opportunities of where you're literally seeing those different things and like stepping into the idea of your own sacred yes and sacred no, and then following those and knowing whatever those things, those hunches that you have. I mean, we call those gut ideas. We have like intuitive hits of a lot of things. People say they, for something negative, the hair on the back of their neck might stand up, a lot of different things like that too. So it's like really, really trusting those intuitive hits that you're getting, because I really believe that intuition is a muscle. And another thing that's, I think, really, really important too is grounding. Having the opportunity of having grounding for yourself too. I have an earthing mat that I bought on Amazon that I always have sitting underneath me. You can put it under your computer as well. A lot of us, because of the fact, like for me, I'm on the 4th floor of my condominium complex. So for me, I'm not connected to the ground floor and I'm not in that space. But this grounding mat is actually the Schumann frequency of the earth, and it allows you to be able to stay. A lot of us spiritual people, we love to do that bypass where we like to hang out in our 4th through our 7th chakras and beyond. Those are our sweet spots. Those are our happy spaces. But the ones of in your body that are like the root chakra, the sacral, and the solar plexus, those are the most difficult for spiritual people to be able to stay in, because they're the least comfortable, because it pulls us back down to earth. And a lot of us would be very comfortable just flying off into the other space too. So with all of the signs of being able to track that, it's been the most amazing thing that, it's like win after win after win after win has happened, in the sense of where You know, I've been the Women Gone Wild book. It's like a lot of compilation books don't really go anywhere, but it you know, we're now in Barnes and Noble and Target and Walmart in the American markets, which is amazing. 2 weeks ago, we had a red carpet event with Sharon Lechter, who wrote Rich Dad Poor Dad, which was amazing. Last week, I spoke at the Penthouse Masterminds in San Diego. I've been in Goss magazine, Angels magazine, Wild magazine, been in the Los Angeles Tribune World Thought Leaders edition. I'll be in the second one, and I've been on all of their virtual summits. It's like literally all these opportunities after opportunities after opportunities, but it's because you say yes. That's why I'm saying that you literally finding your sacred yes, if you get anything out of what I'm talking about today, is one of the most important things that you can get, because it's literally like a tuning fork just for you. And when you tune into that, then from there, it's like all of these other different opportunities are there. And what I love, what Naveen Jain talks about, is that you need to have boldness. And that boldness with inspired action are those two things together that will literally propel you to the next thing. There's a lot of times that you're tired. I mean, I'm tired this morning, but here I am. You got to show up. So many things that we need to do. It's like literally the most important thing is for you to just show up. And like literally, it's like sometimes I just go, oh my gosh, you know, it's so exciting that so much of the ordinariness of my life, it's like now has been transposed and transformed into other spaces. So like in August, I'll be going to Prosperity Camp, which is literally something that's called, it's part of a group called Secret Knock. Secret Knock, Forbes calls it the best like millionaire billionaire mastermind that you can't get a ticket to. It's invite only. And so I'm literally at an event last year, and I didn't even have to apply. It was just like, no, it's, you know, kind of like an A-fest type of a thing. They're like, oh no, we really want you to come in. And then once I went the first time, they said, can you bring your friends too? So I bought a ticket, and I have 3 of my friends that are coming with me as well. It's like just the craziest stuff. And then something else I want to show you that's really crazy too. And I'm not selling these, I'm just telling you guys about them because they're not available yet. But right here, I actually have a product line. Like I would never in a million years would have ever thought I would have a product line. But these are intentional by Barbie Layton manifestation sprays. And it's the idea that you put out what you desire. And one of them is gratitude, one of them is prosperity, and this one is called Cha-Ching, which is about financial. And it's basically just stating out loud, you know, what will it feel like when I have all the funds that I need to be able to take care of whatever I need to take care of. And then you just spray it in, anchor it in from there. And then from there, you go on with your day. But having something like that where it's and it's infused with charged crystals and essential oils and rose water. So it's like really kind of a little pick me up. But I would never in a million years have ever thought of that. But I became friends with someone who's a CEO of a beauty manufacturing company. And she's like, I would love for you to do your own line. From there, she invited me now to the Emmys Gifting Lounge. So the Emmys is basically where you have all the TV people from HBO, NBC, ABC, Hulu, Amazon Prime, all of the actors and the directors and things like that. They're all nominated for awards every single year. So I'm going to be bringing my products to the Emmys Gifting Lounge to be able to gift it to celebrities and influencers and the nominees, etc. So this is going to be this giant, amazing red carpet event in September. These are the kind of things where it's like mind blown, because I didn't even know that this was available. I wasn't chasing that. I wasn't asking for it. It wasn't something where I was literally just asking, what is my next right step? Please show me my next right step. And then boom, these things fall into my lap of where it's like, here, this person. And it's people, experiences, and opportunities. When you have people, experiences, and opportunities that come forward and they show up at the particular time, sometimes they're not necessarily going to be the greatest people for you. Sometimes they're going to be your greatest lesson, because I've learned a lot about trust and people that are who they say they are, et cetera. In the last 3 years has been a really, really important learning lesson for me. But by the same token, now I can really feel like the people that I have around me, I have an amazing team. And I've just been asked to come on board with a international organization that's looking at tackling world hunger and doing clean water for the world and things like that. And it's like, how is this even possible? And they don't want anything from me other than my energy there to be a part of this consortium of like amazing world leaders that were coming together to be able to solve these big problems. So it's something of where I'm just one person. I'm just one person that I know I'm a very unique person, but by the same token, it's still, if you can really come up with your big, hairy, audacious dreams and think about the things that you forgot about, that you thought that you couldn't manifest anymore because you thought you were too old, or you're too this, or you're too that. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We have so many different versions of ourselves, that and so many different personality characteristics, that a lot of us are not pushing into those new spaces of where we can be. That's one of the reasons why I love the expansiveness of things like Mind Valley and other different modalities, because being able to look at that expansiveness and seeing like, what is out there for me? What can I do next? What wants to be expressed through me? I know even like Lisa Nichols says, you know, what if you have a book in your belly? Are you gonna write it, or are you gonna die with it still within you? So those are the kind of things that are really important. Naveen Jain talks about the fact that so many men, they tiptoe through their lives until they die. Nobody wants to do that. And a lot of us feel, unfortunately, like we don't, you know, what is my next right step, is something of where you're stepping into that next opportunity. Just this last Wednesday, excuse me, there's a brand new social media app that just came out called Threads. And it's available in the UK, and it's available in the United States. And it's an Instagram app. But I got invited by a millionaire that I've been following on Clubhouse. And from there, he basically invited me. So I got on like the first day, and I was chatting with Arnold Schwarzenegger, of all people, because it's like this jambalaya of just regular people and celebrities. It's kind of a crazy platform. But I've never been on social media in that sense, like never been at the beginning of the party. It's like I always, you know, came late because I never cared about this. But now it's like, here I was on the first day, and Arnold Schwarzenegger says, say something in the last week that you're proud of yourself for, that you really didn't think that was that big of a deal. But it was that group of people that I was telling you guys about, with the world hunger and the water and feeding, et cetera, that I brought other amazing epic people to the table to be able to be a part of that as well. And so I said, well, I connected epic people doing epic things for the good of the planet. And so he texted me back and he said, oh, you're the connectinator, like instead of the Terminator. And he said, good work. So I'm just kind of laughing that you're just sitting there, you know, chatting with, you know, oh, you're just chatting with Arnold Schwarzenegger. You're like, no big whoop, you know, and then Naveen's on there, and it's et cetera, et cetera. But my point is, and I'll wrap this up, is that there's so much joy to be found when you gamify things, and you come from that childlike wonder and suspend disbelief. Because when I'm talking about this stuff, it makes me giggle. It's so much fun to see, like, what else can be manifested? Like, what else is coming for it? I mean, like I said, this prosperity camp coming up in August, and then in September having you know, the Emmy's gifting lounge, which is like in a lot of ways dream come true, of a dream that I never even thought that I even wanted. But because I was asking the universe to show me what it wanted to birth through me, I wasn't trying to control it. It literally has been beyond my wildest dreams. And I haven't even, like, you know, with this movie hits Amazon Prime in January, that's going to be huge, because it's 18 people that are doing amazing things all over the planet, that are working with energy medicine. And like I said, being scientifically proven is an amazing thing. So my course is the scienceofscience.com, and it's literally, I go through 5 video modules of be able to how to connect yourself even more with all the quantum entanglement and the quantum fields, et cetera, et cetera. It's something I'm super proud of. I did that. I just launched it in the last couple of weeks. And to me, it's like, I know that I can do one-on-ones with clients, but ultimately this is something of where I can't wait to hear the testimonials of people saying, like, you know, hey, Barbie, I followed the Science of Science because the people that have beta tested it for me, they've told me that their whole entire lives have changed because they had the opportunity to be able to start looking at things from a different perspective, and they're manifesting hand over foot, which is like, makes me so excited, because it's something of where having that on a video that can be replicated is super exciting. So I hope that I've provided some value for you guys here in this space. And ultimately, I hope that you can get excited about certain things. My elevator pitch is that I help people re-fall in love with themselves, re-animate their dreams, and become the VIP of their own lives. Because you have so many other parts of yourself. Start to tap into, what are some things that I can do that are pattern disruptors? Because maybe a lot of times what ends up happening is that humans become autopilots. Like we step on autopilot, or we do the same thing in the morning, you do the same thing, you eat the same thing, you go to work the same way, et cetera, et cetera. Do some pattern disruptors, because when you do pattern disruptors, you allow something new to be able to show up. Drive a different street going to work, or take a different train, or whatever it is that you need to do. Like, mix it up, because once you mix it up, that's one of the reasons why travel is so imperative for a lot of people, is because the fact that you cannot be in your comfort zone when you're traveling, because there's all sorts of unexpected things that end up happening where you have to really use all of your faculties. So that's something too that I encourage you to get out there and enjoy yourself, of having the opportunity to do any traveling that you can do. And with that, I'm Barbie Layton, and I'm grateful to have been able to come back into your community. And I'm going to close this portal. All right, closing this portal, sending it back up to source, clear and transmute. All right, thank you.